Welcome, my friends. Today we begin a journey into a deep question. Are you ignoring the voice of God without even realizing it? Many of us long for guidance, for clarity, for direction. Yet in the noise of daily life, we often fail to hear the whisper already present within us. The Stoics wrestled with this same challenge centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, often reminded himself that truth is not hidden. It is we who close our ears to it through distraction, pride, and fear. Before we dive in, if reflections like this resonate with you, I invite you to like this video and subscribe. That small gesture helps keep these timeless lessons alive, reaching others who may be searching for the same wisdom. Sign 1. Drowning in noise, avoiding silence. Think of a man who wakes up and immediately checks his phone, scrolling through endless notifications before his feet even touch the floor. From morning to night, he surrounds himself with podcasts, music, conversations, background noise. To him, silence feels uncomfortable, maybe even frightening. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Yet few of us retreat there. Instead, we drown the voice of God in static. A friend once admitted, "I realized I couldn't stand silence because silence forced me to face myself." And often that fear of facing ourselves is what keeps us from hearing the higher voice within. Question for you. Do you make space for silence, or do you fill every gap with noise? Sign 2. Reacting to emotion instead of reason. Epictetus taught, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Imagine two drivers. Both are cut off in traffic. One explodes in rage, honking and shouting. The other takes a slow breath, steadies their heart, and moves on. The event was the same, but the reactions revealed two completely different souls. When we let anger, envy, or fear control us, we silence the voice of God. That voice speaks not in outbursts, but in pauses, in the breath we take before responding, in the stillness where reason can rise above impulse. Seneca once wrote to his friend Lucilius that anger blinds judgment, turning even wise men into fools. And when blinded, we miss the whisper urging us toward patience and compassion. Question for you. When was the last time you chose patience over reaction? And how did it change the outcome? Sign 3. Seeking validation more than truth. The third sign is one of the most subtle, living for approval instead of integrity. Seneca observed, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." And today, what we crave more than anything is validation. Picture a young woman who chooses her career path only because it pleases her parents, or a man who hides his beliefs out of fear of losing friends. Both let external applause guide them, rather than the quiet compass within. Marcus Aurelius noticed this same tendency in his own life, writing, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. When we listen to the crowd louder than conscience, we turn away from the voice of God." Question for you. Whose voice guides your choices more, the crowd or your conscience? These are the first 3 signs we may be ignoring the voice of God without realizing it, drowning in noise, reacting to emotion, and seeking validation. In part 2, we'll go further, uncovering how fear, pride, and ingratitude can pull us even further from divine wisdom. If these reflections stir something in you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, so you won't miss the next part. And in the comments, share which of these signs feels most familiar in your own journey. Your story might be the reminder someone else needs. In the first part, we uncovered 3 ways we may be ignoring the voice of God: drowning in noise, reacting to emotion, and chasing validation. But there are more. Let us continue. Sign 4. Complicating what should be simple. Seneca once wrote, Life is long, if you know how to use it. Yet many of us complicate life until it feels unbearable. Think of a parent who spends weeks planning a flawless holiday. Perfect meals, perfect photos, perfect memories, only to end up stressed and arguing with the very people they love. Or the colleague who adds endless layers to a project just to impress, only to collapse in exhaustion before it's done. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to strip life back to its essentials. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. When we complicate what should be simple, we bury the divine whisper calling us back to clarity. If this thought of simplifying life speaks to you, take a second to like this video. It's a simple action, but it helps these lessons reach others who need them too. Sign 5. Resisting change out of fear. Epictetus taught, "It is difficulties that show what men are." Change is one of those difficulties. Picture someone stuck in a job they dislike, but they stay because it feels safer than trying something new. Or a person who knows they should forgive, yet clings to resentment because letting go feels frightening. The Stoics embraced change as nature's rhythm. Marcus wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make of it." When fear rules us, we refuse to step into the very growth God is calling us toward. Sign 6. Allowing pride to block guidance. Pride is subtle and dangerous. It whispers, "I already know enough. I don't need correction." But Seneca reminded, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom requires humility. Think of a leader who ignores the advice of trusted colleagues, believing they alone see the truth. Or a spouse who refuses to apologize, even when love is at stake. The voice of God often comes through people, through a friend, a teacher, even a child. But pride shuts our ears. Sign 7. Forgetting gratitude in solitude. Gratitude is one of the most overlooked spiritual practices. Marcus Aurelius, carrying the weight of an empire, began his mornings with thankfulness for breath, for life, for another day. But many of us rush through blessings, eating without thanks, succeeding without reflection, breathing without noticing. Slowly, this neglect dulls the heart to God's whisper. Every breath is a gift. Imagine someone who walks past a sunrise without pause or dismisses the kindness of a stranger. Over time, they no longer see blessings at all. Gratitude keeps the soul awake. Without it, the soul sleeps through God's call. So far, we've seen 7 signs: complicating life, resisting change, letting pride rule, and neglecting gratitude, alongside the 3 from part 1. Each of these silences the guidance we most need. Which of these feels closest to your own journey? Share your reflections in the comments. Your story may be the reminder another soul needs. And if you're finding value here, don't leave without subscribing. Each week, we'll continue uncovering Stoic wisdom and divine whispers that help us live with greater calm, clarity, and courage. We've already explored 7 quiet ways we may ignore the voice of God. Now let's conclude with the final 2, perhaps the most subtle of all. Sign 8. Chasing busyness instead of purpose. Seneca warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Many mistake constant activity for progress. They fill every hour with meetings, chores, endless goals, but miss the deeper question: why am I doing this? Think of the friend who is always busy, always rushing, yet never at peace. Their calendar is full, but their heart is empty. Busyness can be the enemy of purpose. And in the rush, the gentle voice of God gets drowned out. If this resonates with you, pause right now and like this video. Sometimes a simple pause is the first step back to purpose, and your support helps this message reach others who need the reminder to slow down. Sign 9. Ignoring conscience in small things. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that integrity is not proven in grand gestures, but in small choices. If it is not right, do not do it. When we ignore the quiet nudge of conscience, telling a white lie, cutting a small corner, treating someone with less kindness than we should, we train ourselves to silence God's whisper. Picture an employee who pockets office supplies, telling themselves it's nothing, or a friend who withholds truth to avoid discomfort. Over time, those small dismissals create a calloused heart, less able to hear guidance when it truly matters. And so we arrive at the end. 10 quiet signs that reveal when we are ignoring the voice of God. Busyness without purpose, neglecting conscience, and living without reflection, along with the 7 we explored before. Which of these 10 feels most urgent for you right now? Let me know in the comments. Your answer might help someone else listening alongside you. If you've walked this journey with me through all 3 parts, thank you. Take a moment to subscribe so you won't miss the reflections to come. Each week we'll continue exploring the wisdom of the Stoics and the whispers of God, guiding us toward calmer, wiser, more purposeful lives. Until next time, walk gently, stay attentive, and listen closely. The voice is always there.